Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl Margie, aka Miss Margie Millionaire, because that's what I aspire to be. And I am coming to you to bring a little bit of word to you this evening. I don't know if y'all can see that out my window, but it is starting to storm back there. So if you hear some winds or some thunder, that's what it is. Okay? But we are going to hop right into it, and we are coming from Numbers 13. And just to give you a little bit of backdrop. So this story encircles the children of Israel, okay? They are just now exiling out of Egypt. They were taken out of Egypt. God performed miracles to get them out. You can read about that in the book of Exodus, okay? So they're wandering around in the wilderness. God is providing them cloud by day, fire by night. And just guiding them because he wants to bring them into a promised land. And a very pivotal situation happens in Numbers 13. And I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of what happened. Okay? So the children of Israel were in the wilderness after the escape from Egypt, right? So God spoke to Moses and gave him instruction to send out men to spy out the land of Canaan. Now, this is land that God told them that they will possess. Okay, so all the men that were heads of their tribes, the leadership of Israel, was sent out to spy out this land. I'm going to butcher these names. Correct me with pronunciation in the comments if you want to. But here are the names: Shemuel of Reuben, Shaphat of Simeon, Caleb of Judah, Igal of Issachar, Hoshea, whom Moses called Joshua, of Ephraim. So Hoshea means salvation, but Joshua means the Lord is salvation. So he changed his name, of Ephraim. Palti of the tribe of Benjamin. Gediel of the tribe of Zebulun. Gad of the tribe of Manasseh. Emiel of the tribe of Dan. Sether of the tribe of Asher. Nabi of the tribe of Naphtali. And Gael, Geuel, of the tribe of Gad. Okay? So these are the names of the 12 leaders and their respective tribes that he sent out to spy out the land of Canaan. Okay. And this was their instruction when he sent them to spy it out. Okay. He says, see if the people are few or weak, a lot of people or just a little bit of people. If they're few or many, a lot of people or just a little bit of people. Strong or weak, few or many. If the land is good land or if the land is bad land. So is it good for farming? Is it somewhere that we can live that's not dried up but is like watered and fruitful and everything like that? If the cities are open camps which are easy to attack, or if they are walled and fortified, because back then they either had open encampments in a city or they had a big wall surrounding the city for its protection, and a gate would open and close to let you in or let you out in day and night. So he asked them to see what that looks like. If the land is fat or lean, again, is it producing a lot of water, a lot of fruit? If there's timber or not, so they can build their houses. And he said, try to get some fruit from the land because it was a time for grapes to ripen at that time when he sent them out. So they went in and they started to spy out the land, right? And when they went into the land, they saw this cluster of grapes, okay? This cluster of grapes was so fat that they had to put it on a pole and carry it between two men. So we ain't talking about our normal little grape. No, one cluster was so fat and juicy, it took two men to carry it. Keep that in mind. That's a fruitful land, okay? So they did this spying for 40 days, and then they came back. And here's the summary of the report that they gave once they returned from Canaan. They said, yes, the land is very good. It flows with milk and honey and is very fruitful. And they showed them big fat grapes to prove, yes, it is very fruitful. They said, however, the people are strong. The cities are fortified and they're so large. The people there are big, strong, and courageous. Now, when they say this, I just have a question. Where did they get the assumption that these people are courageous? Was it thought up in their own mind? Because you can see if someone's physically big or strong, but you can't see if someone was courageous. Because when they went in, they didn't do any war. They went in, they spied, and they came out. So I question that first of all. But that's just what the report was. They're big, they're strong, they're courageous. So once they say that, the crowd starts going off, and Caleb comes in and quiets the whole crowd. And it's like, listen up, look, let us go in at once. I heard everything you said. The land good, people are strong, fortified, okay, courageous, that's all good. Let's go in right now and take possession because we're going to conquer it. That was a man of faith speaking right there, okay? So that's what Caleb says. But the other leadership, 10 out of 12 of the men said, we're not able. They're too strong. The Lord swallows up the people that go in. Now, if the Lord swallows up the people that go in, pray tell me how y'all went, spied, and came back. You were not swallowed up. That tells me the Lord was with you right there. But they said that. Anyway, the Lord swallows up the people that go in. There are Nephilim giants, and we are like grasshoppers in our sight, and so are we in their sight. So they're saying basically we're too small, we're not able, we're not big enough or important enough or high enough in number to be able to take this land that's been promised to us. How many of us doubt ourselves? God gives us an instruction. God gives us a promise. But when the promise or the instruction requires movement, we say, I can't, God. I'm not able, God. They're bigger than me. They're smarter than me. They have more resources than me. God didn't ask you about none of that. And Caleb didn't concern himself with none of that. He said, go possess it. But the other leaders were not like that. They called themselves grasshoppers. They said, not only do we see ourselves as grasshoppers, they see us as grasshoppers. What they didn't know was that the people in that land were actually terrified of them because they heard of all the miracles that God had done to get them out of Egypt and to carry them while they were in exile. But they still went by what they saw in their own minds with their own lack of faith, that they were grasshoppers in the sight of the other people. And so when the whole tribe heard the leaders say that, that tribe had a whole mental breakdown. They cried all through the night. They were completely distraught. They murmured against Aaron and Moses, the leaders of the time. They talked bad about them. They said, what's wrong with you? You should have just let us die in Egypt. Why did God bring us out here to die? We don't like this. We can't believe this. We're going to appoint us some new leaders. We're going to get Aaron and Moses up out of here. Basically what they said in a nutshell, right? So Moses and Aaron fell on their face, like in total disbelief, fell on their face. And Joshua and Caleb, 2 out of the 12 that went and spied out the land, okay? Because the other 10 were saying, nah, we grasshoppers, we can't make it. Only 2 came back and sided with Moses and Aaron. And they tore their clothes. Joshua and Caleb, they tore their clothes because they're like, we can't believe the people did this. To tear your clothes was a sign of remorse or grief or unbelief. Yeah, a sign of grief. And after they tore their clothes, they spoke to the congregation, Joshua and Caleb now. They said, yo, the land we spied out, it's good land. If the Lord delights in us, then he's going to bring us into the land of milk and honey. And more so what this is saying is he does delight in us. So surely he's going to bring us into the land of milk and honey. They said, just don't rebel against God. Don't murmur. Don't talk down. And don't fear the enemy, because the enemy will be our prey. They said their protection has been removed, meaning God is not with them. And they said the Lord is with us. Don't fear them. So they sent out the warning. We are able. God loves us. He's going to take us through. Don't fear. They'll be our prey, not the other way around. But don't murmur against God. I want to pause right here and just say, if you are going through a situation that seems absolutely impossible, if you don't have anything in faith to say, zip your lips and ponder on the word and fill yourself up with the word until your mind agrees with what the word says. I'm not saying you can't come to God and petition him or come to him and bring your worries, but you got to be careful what you're saying out your mouth on a continual basis, because to murmur is to continually talk down. And how you talk is where you go. You want to talk down, you are going to descend. If you talk up to the Father, you are going to ascend. We have got to watch over our mouth. So yeah, Joshua and Caleb said, the Lord's with us, don't fear him. They gave that whole speech. God delights in us. He's going to bring us into the land of milk and honey. Don't rebel. Don't fear. God's with us. They were trying to, hype them up, encourage them. Do you know how the children of Israel responded? They said, stone them. Kill them. Let's murk these dudes. Let's murk these dudes because they crazy. When God gives you a promise, sometimes it's only you that can see it in your own mind. And if you share with the people around you, they think that you are a fool because logically it didn't make sense. Logically, they were physically bigger. Logically, they had big fortified cities. Logically, it wouldn't make no sense, but God had already spoken. So faith